Carl, what's the worst present you've ever had?
You see, we don't really celebrate birthdays in our house, so...
What? Where are you from? What planet are you? What do you mean you don't celebrate birthdays?
Are you here from another world observing? Like, trying to blend in, but not quite managing to pull it off?
Not that fussed about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's...
Yeah.
My mum and dad's are on the same day, and I think that just was like...
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
On their anniversary, and...
Well, they got married on their mutual birthday.
But Carl, can I just...
and Christmas.
But Carl, there's a difference between you saying...
What do you mean their anniversary's on the same day? Of course it's on the same day.
Yeah, and the birthday.
But, Carl, what I mean is that... you say that you don't really celebrate your birthday, but presumably you have received some presents at some point in your life from your parents. Or anyone.
Yeah,
Okay, well, we'll come back to you later.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Let's play a record.
Carl, have a think about that and we'll come back to you later. Thanks very much.
I'm just finding more and more things are annoying me.
Really?
Like, even... Like, at that Sony's night, right, you've got a lot of, respectable people going to that thing, you know, people who are high up at the BBC and that.
Yeah.
And just the way, you know, it's a posh night, there's people there with dinner jackets on and stuff.
Mm.
And then I went to the toilet for a wee. Old fella in there. I thought he looks like he's been in the, you know, the radio game for years, probably done loads of award-winning Sony stuff.
Yeah.
You know, all the BBC documentaries to do, in-depth stuff, and I thought, you know, I wonder if I'll be like him when I'm older, I wonder if I'm as good as him. Thinking all that, he's having a wee in the next urinal. Farts.
I know. Yeah.
He just farts. Old fella in a dinner jacket, probably hired. And I thought,
is that like they try to? They think, well, I better do it in here, and it's sort of like a trumpet, and everyone just goes, yeah, that's fine. What's up with that? You know, yeah, I know what you mean. It's just the arrogance of doing it.
He just did it. It sounded like a lost whale. and he didn't sort of go and try and clinch it. He carried on, and then he went, oh, that was a good one.
Really?
Old fella, must have been about 70.
Oh dear.
And
what, better out than in?
Yeah.
But it's not though. I wasn't brought up like that. You see.
Right.
Because I did it. I mean, I never really did it that much as a kid.
Sure.
And then I was at my mum and dad's.
You never did it that much as a kid. What, farted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not just like, you know, as a joke and that.
We are taping this for next year's Sony Award, aren't we? We're taping this, what we're talking about now, aren't we? To hand in. Because this is, go on.
But I was at my mum and dad's, right? And Suzanne was sat on the floor in front of me, and she was like, oh, rub me neck, it's hurting. So I thought, oh, and I hate doing that, it really it bores me.
Well,
right?
she's your girlfriend, for goodness sake.
I know, Dale Winton's different, you're getting paid for that, go on.
So I thought, the only way to shift her is I'll let one go, right? So I did that.
I love that!
It's such a loving relationship.
I love that, that's great!
So
like doing the washing up badly.
Yeah.
She won't ask me again, what have you done? I've smashed the cups up and I've written in excrement across the wall. Well, that's no good, isn't it? Well, I won't do it again then.
Give me the marigolds, I'll do it.
I've nailed the cat to the fridge, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Go on.
But yeah, so I did that, and it worked. She sort of got up and said, oh, and my dad said, what you do that for?
Yeah. What was he thinking?
So I said, oh, I hate rubbing her neck, does me head in. So he says, you know, I've never trumped in front of your mother for 40 years.
Sorry, where was this? Chigley? Why is this family talking like this? Young Carl, I've never trumped in front of your mother in the 35 years. What? I don't know what...
No, it's just that he said, you know, we've done a lot of things in the family that
Hold
I'm not
on,
proud of and that.
what did he say that for? What, he's never trumped in front of your mother?
He just offered that information up.
Well, he just was surprised that I did it. He said, where have you got that from?
Yeah.
Whoa, you're lowering intestines, I'd have thought. What do you have to imagine there's a class of farting. Oh, no. we haven't told our kids about farting. He doesn't do it. We haven't told him about it. We don't do it in front of it. You have to learn it, do you?
No, but there's a place. That's what I was always told.
Go on.
There's a place for that.
Cornwall.
So, and my mum, you know, it's the same. She doesn't do it.
Right.
If she goes to the toilet to, you know, do what you got to do, she makes sure, like, she'll sort of say things like, "Are you going out for a walk?"
Are you going out for a walk?
Does she know that you're broadcasting this?
Well, yeah.
He's probably around at the neighbours now, listening.
Yeah.
Any of you going out for a walk?
Yeah, just at the door.
So she waits until everyone's left, or?
She doesn't like the thought that everyone... Do you know, like, cats don't like you staring at them when they're doing it?
I've never stared at a cat while it was doing anything.
Have you ever had a pet cat?
What do you mean? Yeah, go on.
No, it's just that cats, you know, if you get on a little litter tray...
Yeah.
I remember being told, like, no, when it does use it, don't sort of go and look at it. Because it puts it off. I was the same as a kid. I didn't... When I had a nappy...
Who comes and looks at you when you're on the bar?
No, when I was a kid and I was in a nappy, right,
Yeah.
I used to always, like, there was a corner in the kitchen that I'd always go to. And everyone would be
Why
like...
do you go to the toilet?
Because I had a nappy on.
Oh, yeah, right, how old were you?
14th birthday?
About 3 or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And I used to always go to this corner, and
Yeah.
everyone said, right, he's going to the corner, don't watch, don't stare at him.
And the thing is, I can so imagine you because you've got the same head.
Yeah, you look like a baby.
It's just the baby's head. Put that. Would you put a nappy on for 50 quid?
Now.
Yeah. Just sitting, do your work,
Well,
right?
anyway,
sit in the
right,
corner.
So I'm not doing that, right?
Come on.
So yeah, my mum's like that, and something else she's good. I mean,
Okay,
people might not know.
At dinner party, oh, it's Mrs. Pilkington just in the corner, just don't look at her.
Yeah, don't look at Mrs. P.
She's just in the corner of our kitchen, don't just look at her. What's she doing? She's just doing her business. There she is squatting. Are you going for a walk?
Sorry, you were saying, Carl.
Another trick I've learnt from her, right? If you're using, say, a friend's toilet or something, and you don't want to leave your mark, just
Go down the toilet and flush it.
Take a box of matches with you.
Yes.
Yeah. Set fire to the curtains.
Set fire to the curtains calls a distraction.
Burn the place down, have a wonderful crap, and just leave when the fire brigade get there.
I'll forget it.
Carl, tell Steve what you just told me when Steve was in the toilet then.
Right, you know, I'd just been away with my mum and dad and that. And one of the things I always like doing is having a good chat with my dad about stuff he got up to when he was a kid and that.
Yeah.
Right, because he got up to loads of stuff, and every time I see him, he tells me something, and I think, it's like, why are you just telling me that now? It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? So,
I mean, to me, he's kind of like Ronnie Biggs or someone. He's just the most extraordinary kind of...
well, this
Character,
happened, right?
character.
I can't remember. There was a delay yesterday. There was problems on the Paddington line,
Yeah.
and he was saying, "Oh, trains aren't what they used to be."
Sure.
He said, I was looking.
They used to be horses, didn't they?
Well, he was looking in the booklet, and it was saying how you can have your bags collected if you want, but it costs you £5.
Yeah.
So that's outrageous.
Sure, of course.
Right, so he said that's the problem with this country. We've got good with computers and that, but when it comes to, like, getting service, it's gone out the window.
Yeah.
Right? So he said, when I worked on the trains, and he was going on like this, that and the other, so I said, oh, I didn't know you worked on the trains. He said, yeah, when I was 18, right, it was his job to get the coal, right, and chuck it in the engine, right, and one day he's in Grand Central Station in Manchester, which is now the GMEX Centre,
Right.
right, and that was like the main station, and he was in there. The fella who should have been sort of driving the train,
Yeah.
right, he said, oh, I'm just nipping to the pub,
Sure.
so you just stay here, keep the engine topped up and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah,
For a quick getaway.
Yeah.
right. So the fella goes in the pub, and my dad's in there, putting the coal on. He did his bacon and eggs on a little shovel.
Yeah, yeah.
And anyway, fella comes up. He said, right, can you move the train forward now?
Oh, blimey.
So he was like, oh. So he didn't want to say, oh, the fella's in the pub, because he'd know he'd say, well, what's he doing in the pub? He should be working, right? So he said, yeah, no problem, I'll sort it out. Right, so he puts it into gear or whatever you do on them trains.
Sure,
right?
puts it into first, yeah.
Starts going forward. Now, people who don't know about trains, something that I learnt is if you're carrying a load of coal or whatever on the back of it, they don't have brakes on each carriage, right? It's only the engine that has brakes on it. So when you pull the brakes on the engine, the whole weight of what it's pulling is pushing you forward.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't realise this though, because he's just used to cooking bacon and eggs and chucking coal in.
Of course,
the thing,
yeah.
right?
So you've got to slam the brakes on sooner than you would normally.
Yeah.
Well, you have to anticipate it, I suppose. Yeah.
But he didn't know that, so he's pulling in, he's thinking, right,
Well,
I'll put the brakes on now, right? Puts the brakes on, the train just keeps going, he's going, oh god, it's not stopping.
Sure.
It ploughs right through the signal box. Right? Loads of damage.
pulling the signals, don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Loads of damage done. Apparently, if it was today's money, it'd be about £3 to £4 million worth of damage. It shut the station off for 4 weeks. But he didn't lose his job. The fella lost his job, the one who was in the pub.
Yeah.
He said the funny thing was, he said like £4 million worth of damage. He did his ankle, his wrist in. He had 3 weeks off sick and got paid. So it's brilliant. So
I love your family.
It's extraordinary. The Pilkington gene.
weird, isn't it?
I'd like to see a documentary following you and your family. And you'd have to get the family involved.
No, the sort of stuff my dad goes on about. They'd never put it on telly.
Did your dad ever pop anything down in writing?
I'll tell you what, my mum wanted to do it.
Yeah.
There's been loads of things, little inventions she's come up with and that, but she's been too busy doing other stuff. But she used to come up with stories for me as a kid that I'm sure, if they came out, they'd be a success.
Yeah.
Go on.
Do you remember any of them?
There was one about a little red car. I can't remember how that ended. But the one that was really good was about a kid who gets a dog, right? But it's quite an old dog.
This is going to be an episode of the Waltons, isn't it? And then go on. Go on.
And he's playing with the dog and that, but it starts getting a bit old. It's about 15 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, it's rubbish, this dog. So,
I would love that book for kids. I would love that. Tommy went, oh, Mummy, my dad's, oh no, kill it then. Kill it then. Shall I? Yeah, just throw it in the lake. I'll get you another one. Do you want a Nintendo? Yeah. Kick the rabbit to death then.
right, so he said, oh, Mum, you know, this dog's rubbish and that, I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
So she goes...
How old were you when your mum was telling you this story?
don't know, about 4.
Okay.
It wasn't last week on holiday.
Right, so she goes, oh, alright then, we'll get you another one.
Yeah.
She goes, brilliant.
What did you do with the old one?
Just kept it, but didn't sort of play with it or anything.
Just ostracised it until it left of its own free will, or curled up and died.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
So,
what did you get him? What sort of dog?
I think it was a little baby, like Labrador.
Puppy.
Little puppy, yeah.
Yeah, Labrador,
Right.
good one. Good choice for a second dog.
So,
Yeah.
so
I'm
anyway,
loving this story.
It's a great
I am
story.
actually loving this story.
So,
Where does he live?
I don't know, it didn't matter. Didn't matter, it was near a lake. Oh,
Well, that's where they were getting rid of all the dogs. Sure.
Yeah.
We're getting, that'll make sense in a minute, right? So, so he's got the little dog, he's playing around with it, he's playing with its belly and stuff, he's thinking this is brilliant, best dog I've ever had, right? And the other dog sat in the corner looking all fed up, right? So,
I like this story.
so he says to his mum, right, I'm taking, little puppy down the park.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, take the old one with you. And he goes, oh, do we have to?
It's a moral, isn't it? I bet the old one saves him.
So he goes, oh, do we have to? She goes, yeah, it still needs a walk and that. Scrapping all over the house, right? Yeah. So takes it down the park, right? And he's playing around, and he's playing near the lake, right?
Is the puppy near the lake, Carl? Because this is what's worrying me.
Yeah.
Puppy's near the lake, right? That jumps in.
Yeah.
The kid goes, oh God, he jumps in. Remembers he can't swim.
Yeah, idiot.
Right?
This kid is based on you, isn't it?
Almost certainly.
Flapping about. Water's going everywhere. He's going, I can't. Oh God! And he wants the puppy to help him, but the puppy's just like drowning as well.
Yeah.
The old dog comes up, drags them both out. He goes, I can't believe it. You know, I said I was fed up with you.
Yeah.
You saved my life.
Yeah.
He gets home, and he says to his mum,
Kill the
"Get
little
rid of
one.
the puppy."
Kill the puppy.
Yeah. So it's good little. Good
What
little
does he
story.
say when he gets home?
He said, I don't need the puppy now. I've got. I'm happy."
Brilliant. Brilliant. Genius.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, so the moral of that story
Well,
is
they
just
show-
follow your whims.
They just yeah. If you get bored and get another puppy.
Get another dog.
If you get bored with the old one again, just do it again. I mean, just eventually, get something
Yeah,
that you
learn
like
your
for a
dogs,
little.
who cares?
Yeah. That's brilliant. That is a brilliant story, though.
There's a time and place to be lost.
Go on.
Well, a place you don't know.
What's
and
the place to be lost?
somewhere you don't know.
Right. Good. Okay.
And the time?
The
Time when you're not in a rush.
Right.
But that time I was in a rush, and I was cold.
So a typical argument in your head is what? I'm lost. I'll do one side of the brain, you do the other side of the brain, okay, in your head, okay? Carl.
What?
This isn't where we should be. You want to go home, didn't you? This isn't your house. 'Cause it's a field. You live in a house, don't you? Why are we standing in a field? This isn't your house. You're meant to go home, but you've walked into a field.
No, but that wouldn't. I've never been that lost. When I'm walking across a field, at the edge of the field, I'd go, hang on a minute, this isn't right. I wouldn't get in the middle. I wouldn't go that far. I'd go, right, I definitely shouldn't be here.
You did once. You were in the middle of a field, and your dad had to rescue you.
Yeah,
and carry
that's
you
when I
through
was
the
a kid, because I was reading as I was walking. That's,
And he never read again.
but there's another sense. I was in the middle of nettles there.
Yeah.
I'd walked. It was at my brother's wedding in Cornwall, and I was walking near a cliff edge.
Reading a book.
And okay, so okay. Walking. Carl, I know you're enjoying this book. Can I have a word with you? Just look past the book a minute. There's a big drop.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened, and then that's when my other senses went, hang on a minute, I'm being stung. Load of nettles and stuff. I just had to wait there for ages until my dad sort of thought, where's Carl? I was there for about an hour and a half.
You showed a book.
Fuck me like a cartoon.
But why are you wandering off reading a book when it's your brother's wedding?
No, this was like, we were in, I think it was St Ives in Cornwall.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was in St Ives, and just, you know, it was a nice day and that. There was no telly in the place. It was a horrible house. It was haunted, actually. No, honestly.
No, not honestly. It wasn't haunted. There's no such thing as ghosts. So you saying honestly it was haunted means fuck all.
It's the weirdest place and weirdest sensation I've ever had. I spoke to a woman called Mrs. Battersby.
Right.
Who sat on my bed keeping me up all night. My mum came up, she said, you look shattered. I said, yeah, I haven't had a kiss all night. She said, why? I said, I've been talking to Mrs. Battersby. She said, who's that? I said, no, some old woman. Now, I can't remember it now, but that's what I did then. And then,
Sorry, so Mrs. Battersby didn't exist, is that what you're saying? She was the ghost?
Yeah.
Wasn't the landlady?
No, there's no landlady. It's a big house, about 12 bedrooms in it.
Right.
Dead cheap to stay there, because it was a wreck. My
Were
mum
you
and dad
ill?
went out
Were you
one
ill?
night.
Did you have flu at the
No,
time?
I had nothing like that. I just...
So you were sitting up, but you were awake, and you were having a conversation with Mrs. Battersby.
What did she look like?
I can't remember. I can't even remember having the chat now.
Right,
But
so-
at the time, I was like, oh, she just doesn't shut up. Chatting all night.
So you don't remember this happening? Or you do remember it happening?
No, I remember that, like, if I see my mum now and I mention St Ives, she'll go, oh yeah, Mrs. Battersby. She remembers coming in, because she was older than me, wasn't she? So, to
Who?
her, my mum.
Was she?
Yeah.
How old was Mrs. Battersby? She was older than both of
She
you.
was old, because I'm calling her Mrs. Battersby. If she was my age, I'd probably say, oh, it's Susan or whatever.
Right, sure,
You
Miss
call older
Miss
people
Battersby.
by the surname, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, so she kept
How
me
old
up all
were you?
night. Dunno, I'm thinking of pictures at the wedding.
Why do you have to go through other things to just have a memory?
How old do you reckon you were?
I don't understand why you haven't got direct access to your memories.
How old do you reckon you were?
Your mum was older though, yeah?
You must have a vague idea of when this
I'm
event
thinking
was.
about it now, I'm thinking. I'm
Okay.
picturing a picture of myself at this wedding.
Okay.
And how old are you? What are you doing?
How tall were
I'd say
you?
I look about...
How were you?
I'd say I look about 7 or 8, looking at the picture.
Right, okay. Right, okay.
So Mrs. Battersby is chatting away to you. You don't remember what she said, but you do remember having the conversation.
No, he doesn't remember it
I
at
don't
all.
remember the chat now.
Well then
So-
why are you telling us?
It's
You
not
must
your
remember it
memory.
because you're telling us about
It's not
it.
your
Because it's a
memory.
memory, my mum's reminded me of it.
Yeah, but all it says is, oh, this is so far removed. This is hearsay that your mum said you spoke to a ghost once. And you don't even remember the ghost.
Mrs. Battersby.
No,
Yeah,
you
no, but
remember
you
the
don't
name
remember
because
her.
your mum reminded you of
In a
it.
court of law, if there was a ghost court, they go hearsay, thrown out of court.
Right.
You
yeah.
don't have a memory of Mrs.
No,
Battersby.
look, I know that when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I ate a beetle. I ate a beetle because I thought it was licorice. Now, I can't remember that now.
You can't remember that, but you know it happened because your mother told you it happened.
Exactly.
Right. But the fundamental thing is that we can believe we can believe you ate a beetle, right? Because that is something that could happen in real life.
But-
what we're questioning is that you spoke to a ghost.
What sort of beetle one was it?
Just one of them standard Beatles, just a little black shiny one.
Thing is, right, a couple of years ago, we were in the Ivy, and the food came, and there's a big blob of wasabi, right? It was like called an Oriental hors d'oeuvre, right? And I looked over at Carl, and he started going, drinking water. I said, what was that? I said, I heard that. I said, that was a blob of wasabi. He said, I thought it was one mushy pea.
That's a classy restaurant, though. They're serving one mushy pea.
Well, they do that, don't they?
Wow.
Small portions. It's all trendy, isn't it?
Yeah, I love the fact that it's exactly the same thing. They've swapped beetle for wasabi and licorice for pea. You see things, you see something.
It's a good job you remembered that anecdote, though, because he doesn't.
Exactly, yeah. In years to come, we'll be going, ate some wasabi once. Did you?
Yeah.
Well, according to Ricky, I did, yeah. I was in the Ivy. I thought it were mushy pea.
So hang on, I just want to go back to Mrs. Battersby, because you confidently said it was haunted. It was the most haunted place.
Yeah.
But you've got no real evidence for it, because even you claim you had this encounter, you don't even remember it.
But you don't remember everything in life,
But you
do you?
supposedly had a conversation with a ghost.
I know, but I didn't know. When I was younger, I
But you
didn't think
remember
that
the
was a
specifics
ghost.
of an ant walking around?
Yeah, so you thought, so I see. If you'd have had the memory, it would just be a nice old lady on the end of your bed all night.
Right.
And then...
Then, when I mentioned it, my mum was saying, what do you mean, Mrs. Battersby? Who's Mrs. Battersby?
Right.
When you're a kid, you're not terrified, are you?
No.
Nothing scares
I mean,
you.
I'm beginning to think, who the fuck is Mrs. Battersby, I must admit. But
So, yeah, that was, but it was a weird place. I mean, there was no telly. All they had for sort of company was a calculator.
Placebo. This picture on XFM 104.9. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Steve Merchant and Karl Pilkington.
Right.
So you've been educated there, haven't you? The Trojan horse.
Yeah.
The Trojan horse. And that's, of course, where the phrase, beware Greeks bearing gifts, comes from.
Silence again.
Yeah. You ever heard of that one?
Go on. What's that again?
Beware Greeks bearing gifts.
Right.
What do you think that means?
I don't know. I mean, what is that? Is that used worldwide or what? Will they say that in Greece as well, or? Because imagine Christmas Day is rubbish.
No, it doesn't actually mean beware of Greeks bearing gifts. It's more to do with, like, maybe it's too good to be true, or, you know. It's the opposite to don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Well, that's probably where it came from as well.
Justin from Southend emailed in, he just said, for the Trojans not to have spotted that it was a trick, they must have been the biggest bunch of moronic, ever to have walked the earth. Does Carl have any Trojan in him by any chance?
Cheeky, innit?
Eh?
What?
Never mind. Well, I think that probably proves it.
I thought of another one like as well. I was saying, you may as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb.
I've never heard, I don't think I've heard that. I have heard, but I don't think I've ever used it in common parlance.
Well, it's like, if you're going to do something, you know, you might as well go the whole hog, depending on the outcome. Because it's based on reality. That's why I like it, because obviously the poor people used to poach, and if they were caught stealing, you know, a sheep or anything, they would be hung. So if you're going to get caught, don't steal a lamb, you know, at least feed your family for a few weeks.
Right, sure.
Kill a sheep.
Yeah.
Actually hung, but killing a sheep.
Oh. Your dad would be in trouble, down in Wales, stealing stuff from that, from that phone box.
Well, he has a couple of sayings, right?
Your father?
Yeah, I've never asked him what they mean.
Why would you? Ask Suzanne.
One is, don't try and teach your granny to suck eggs.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means, it's patronising to, of course I know that. You're talking to someone who knows more about this subject than you.
But how did that happen then? How did that saying come about?
Well, it's not. It's a totally made up thing. It's like, your granny sucks eggs, doesn't she? Because she's older than you, and it's probably a lost art or something.
Alright. And the other one,
Sucks eggs?
Sucks
Yeah.
eggs, yeah.
Sucks eggs, sorry, I thought you said something else.
Don't nudge your granny when she's shaving.
What?
Sorry?
Don't nudge your granny while she's shaving.
Don't nudge your... Sorry, say
Well,
that
that's
slower, I can't...
Don't
nudge
nudge your granny when she's having a shave.
Well, what is that in context? Because I can't work out what the analogy is there, because that might just be you when you were little, you used to run up to your granny while she was shaving or something.
But what, why is your granny shaving?
Well, no, what context is that set in? Tell me the last time your dad ever said that, and I'll try and work out what it means.
Can't remember. I can't. I don't
Are you
know.
sure these aren't specific to your granny?
Yeah, I was to say, were you nudging your granny? She was going,
Yeah.
get lost, Carl.
She was shaving off her moustache.
Or giving herself a Brazilian.
That's grotesque. Suck an egg, suck an egg, suck an egg. Suck an egg instead.
Oh God. That's made
Yeah,
it
made it
worse.
worse.
Carl's granny sucking eggs. Whilst that's... That is
Giving herself
my...
a Brazilian. We've no idea. I don't know what that means. Don't nudge your granny while she's shaving. What,
Yeah.
parmesan?
I don't know. Maybe someone knows. You might be right. Maybe.
Well,
it's
email
someone-
in. Tell us.
Yeah.
Scorpio Rising, Death in Vegas on XFM 104.9, Steve. I'm Ricky Gervais. Carl's a little bit less stressed now. There's camera crew have gone, his dad's not listening, we think.
Well, yeah, who knows? Who knows?
But, you're chilled.
I tell you what though, my mum was loving it. Do
Was
you know Rockbusters?
I love do I know Rockbusters? I love Rockbusters. I think I dream of it.
She was taking part. I mean, she doesn't know a lot of the new bands and that, but she made some up for some older bands and that.
Oh, she did some herself?
She made some herself, sent them in the post.
So are you going to use those today?
She's not quite got the hang of it. So
Unlike her genius son.
Have you got them there? Can we hear what they are?
you keep talking a second then.
I'm quite excited. I mean, if they're even approaching, say, the genius of Wet Knee Houston.
Yeah.
And, there was another one which was something to do with a trench, Carl. What was that?
Oh, that was Dandy Warhols. That was a good one.
Dandy Warhols.
I think that was his finest moment. Yeah.
Incidentally, I've had an email here from someone called Sauda, if that's a he or a she, but let's assume it's a she, just for glam's sake.
Yeah.
She says she saw an old man eating a Twix last week, Carl, so that blows your theory out the
I'm
water.
not having it.
Okay. So if you are a bloke, he's calling you a liar. So maybe you want a little rumble later?
In fact, if you are a bloke, he's calling you a girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah then. These are ones that my mum's made up.
Brilliant.
Right, just in case you're a new listener, I give some initials out and a cryptic clue. And it makes up a band, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or a solo artist.
Yeah,
solo
not so
artist.
much cryptic as what you're thinking. Yeah, go on.
My mum sent this one. This group would be good at doing your hair.
This group would be good at doing your hair.
TP.
Is there a group called the Hairdressers from the 60s?
This group would be good at doing
What?
your hair.
TP.
TP. Is it the something?
The Platters.
The Platters.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, so that's alright.
Nice.
Let's have a look. This group sound like dinosaurs.
You sound like dinosaurs.
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Yeah. I see what you mean. They're not so much cryptic, are they?
This group.
Leave her alone, they're good.
This group likes being by the sand and the sea.
This group likes being
Are they the Beach Boys by any
Beach
chance?
Boys.
This band are called the Beatles. The Beatles.
Hang on. We just have
What else you got?
It's funny because one of them that she's done, I'm actually doing today. I thought of in the week.
Right,
So,
is it the same clue?
It was, yeah.
Wow,
But
great minds think alike,
Here's
so
the
this
last
is obviously
one.
coincidence.
Here's the last one from her. This guy sounds superb.
This guy sounds superb.
The Bachelors.
Glenn Campbell.
Not bad,
That's
actually.
good. I like that.
I'd tell you this, I think you should get onto one of the big game, organisations, Parker Brothers or whatever, because this has got to be, I mean, this could sweep the nation at Christmas. Don't you think this is the perfect Christmas game?
Yeah.
Well, I think this is what's going to make or break the MTV thing. to be
Right.
honest.
Some kind of TV version.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm just thinking into ad breaks, you know, coming up next is this band.
Be careful though, Carl, because, you know, make sure you retain the rights, because I can see this selling abroad. You know,
Yeah,
you could
and I
storm
can see
America.
someone coming along and taking the sort of like the Rockbusters and changing one word and like another game out of it and just
What
using
was
the same format.
What
I
are you
don't know, I don't know, I can't think of them there, but they could change. So
Sort of like...
they change the word rock to something else and have it.
What could it be? Brick block?
Yeah, and so you have to, you know what I mean? So
Blockbusters.
be careful.
Yeah.
Blockbusters will never work.
Look at his little face. Carl wanted to start off with the Stereophonics.
Oh, loser.
Because it was a newer track. And Carl now, we've made him what he is. He was nothing when we
Nobody.
found him.
He was like work experience.
And now he's going, oh, we should start off with the Stereophonics. I'm going,
Trying to
Carl,
tell you what to do,
if
Ricky.
I want anyone's opinion, I don't.
But
Basically.
he'd probably come to me, I imagine, wouldn't he? I'd be the
Before-
first person.
Before Carl,
Yeah.
I'd consult you, Steve.
Thank
so
you.
just keep it, just because he was in a, what was it,
He had his
Pilking's
mobile
making
disco
music.
outfit. Pilking's
Pilking's making, I bet you never pleased a crowd once.
Did. Loads of times.
Go on then, what did you play? What's your biggest gig you ever played?
I did like a social club gig,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just about the music either. I used to.
What else could it be about?
I used to take prizes and cigars and stuff
In a youth club.
to give away.
I just love these, like, 14-year-old manx hanging out going, let's go down here, you might have some fags and cigars for us.
Well, it was whatever like was on my mum and dad's dressing table.
That could have been embarrassing, couldn't it?
That could have been deeply embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You've won.
And third prize, some handcuffs.
And a black mamba. I'm not saying that at any point in your upbringing, your parents left around any kind of marital aid on the dressing table. Don't think I'm saying that, Carl. I'm not suggesting. Like, he doesn't like this, does he?
Well, I can understand why.
Oh yeah, because it's about his.
About his parents having sex.
Well, they must have.
Yeah,
At least 3 times.
I think I was an accident.
I
still have had to have sex.
Alcohol. I think it's been ongoing.
Just because my brother and sister are quite older than me.
Yeah, me too. I was an accident. I know that. Yeah. How old's your brother and sister?
I think my sister's about 39,
Right.
and my brother's about 37.
Okay. And you're 29.
I'm like 29.
Right. So yeah, my next one's 11 years older than me.
Yeah.
That was definitely a.
Do you want to have a hug, you two, or
Yeah. Yeah.
you're dealing with it now? You got over it?
Well, would you like to see us have a hug? Oh. Cardigans. You're the Storm on XFM 104.9. Well, nearly the end of the show, but we wouldn't let them down, would we? You know what it is now, don't you? Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news.
Right. Now, whilst I was in Cornwall, I wasn't online. I didn't have the internet, so it was like, oh, what am I going to do? And I didn't come back till yesterday. And I thought there's loads going on that I don't know about in the monkey world and stuff. I was hoping to get some from the zoo that I was meant to be going to. Of course, that didn't happen. So I said to my dad, do you know anything about monkeys? Or have you got any stories with monkeys?
Brilliant. This is what Trevor McDonald does.
Turned out...
Quarter to 10, he goes, got nothing. Dad, anything happened? You got anything politics? Anything politics, Dad?
This isn't monkey news, I'm just giving you this free.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Turned out one of his mates used to have a chimp.
Right.
What do you mean one of his mates used to have a chimp?
Well, two of his mates. Mind you,
Oh,
one
sorry,
wasn't his
yeah,
mate, one wasn't his mate.
I was thinking it sounds a bit far-fetched living in Manchester, like. But if there was 2 of them...
He had a chimp, had to thump it in the head.
For doing what? Answering back?
Oh, God!
Tried it on with his wife.
Had to thump it in the head for trying it on with his wife! I love it. It's a proper fist fight in a pub in Manchester. Oh.
I'd call him up, but he's one of them who, like, swears all the time.
Oh.
I mean, it'd be good to get him on and
Let's interview him. Can we not interview him pre-record? We can bleep out the swear, and I'd love to hear his
do
story.
a lot of work, that.
Yeah, well, we're not scared of work,
No, I
obviously.
mean, I'll
you
get
know.
myself if you can't be bothered.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know,
I'll
so...
have a word, I'll sort it out.
Yeah, try and sort that out next
you
week.
sort that out, yeah.
Well, don't
yeah.
tell us the rest of the story then. Let's let him say it in his own
No,
words.
but there was another one as well. Some
When you
fella-
say you can get him on, but he swears a lot, you mean the monkey? I'm assuming he's more coherent than your dad's mate.
But there's him, and there's some other fella he knows who had a funny name. I'll have to find out, because you'll love his name. But he was a drag artist.
Yeah.
And, I think he said my dad went round one day, I don't know why, right? Went round there, knocked on the door, chimp answered.
Carl, I don't know what you're doing, mate. I don't know where this place you live. Next door there's an horse in the front room. There's chimps running round.
Mad. Anyway,
Chimpanzee!
Is that it? Is that the end of the story? There's a chimp answering the door, and that's the end.
You sure it wasn't the drag artist before he shaved?
no.
Sure, it wasn't your gran.
Because I like the really airy ones that decide they can be female impersonators. Yeah, your gran.